Midcoast Community Council meeting of May 27th, 2026. Secretary, please call the roll.
Scott,
Here.
David, here, Kimberly,
Here.
Connie.
Yep.
Claire, I'm here, Gus and Antonio will not be here.
Specifically.
Thank you. So we have a quorum.
We would love to hear more progress and the pros and cons of
The
renovating.
Board of Supervisors report and reports from other government officials is next. And David, are you prepared to give a report? Okay.
Honey, can you mute Michelle?
Make ones up there.
Yeah, it's Michelle.
Let's start next time actually playing.
There we go.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so we have David Cosgrave to give us a report from the supervisor's office.
Good evening, glad to be here tonight. It's been a busy last 2 weeks. We met with you a week ago, Friday, with Kimberly, with the supervisor to discuss some issues. It was a busy day, so didn't spend a lot of time with you. Sorry, there were distractions, but after that, the supervisor went to the CSAC, which is the California State of Counties, for the legislative conference in Sacramento, to talk to other counties about legislation and get advice on what's going on. So he had a 4-day conference in Sacramento to catch up on things like that. And then I was gone most of this week, but we were together last Friday. And you guys are aware of the traffic signals situation we had last week. We worked very hard to get Caltrans to fix that for the holiday weekend. Didn't look like anything was going to be getting done, so we pushed harder and harder, put out press releases, worked with the city of Half Moon Bay, with Matthew Chittister, working with him, with Becker, Berman, and Patton, talking to Caltrans, and they were able to come out on a holiday weekend and change the timing on the light at Frenchman's Creek, which made an immense improvement of the traffic pattern to why they didn't have that before in the first place. But since that time, we've gotten a lot of reports of it's 1,000% better, and a lot of thank yous. If you're unfamiliar with what they did with the paving project, as they've gone south, we've had complaints of working at night, right? So we've asked Caltrans if they could reduce the noise of those that live by the highways. But then there's people that don't want the impact during the daytime of the traffic. So it's a give and take, and we've asked Caltrans to be mindful of the noise and try to impact the community as least as possible. But unknown to us, as they went through each major intersection that has lights, they took out the loops that are in the ground to detect traffic. So instead of having the lights that go by when someone's there, they trigger the light. It was just on a timer, right? So it was handling the Frenchman's Creek track as having major traffic going both ways and equalizing the time is what I'm assuming. So I think what they've done is put priority of north and south on Highway 1 to get the traffic flowing. It might be a greater impact to the community of Frenchman's Creek, but at least they can get to their home now, because it was pretty rural for a while. And I'm assuming last Monday, not this Monday, but a week ago Monday, it must be after that intersection, because it was Tuesday that the traffic impact started being reported to us, and people really noticed the traffic. So that's what we've been doing on that. And that's the majority of my report. If you have any questions for me.
Great. Claire?
You may be aware, because many people have contacted your office, that there's been a steady stream of gravel trucks going up through El Granada and apparently turning left. Followed this week by a steady stream of cement trucks, and we would like to know what's going on.
I did call PG&E, and someone reported something that there was work at the top of El Granada Boulevard a few weeks ago. PG&E said they weren't doing any road work at that time, but they were doing some stuff on their lines. So is that where?
No, this is definitely. I don't know if anybody's been up there at all. I guess not. But.
To the top of El Granada Boulevard?
Yeah, right over to Montara Mountain. We've had a long history of people doing work on the road on Montara Mountain without permits and without telling anybody in the community that they're going to do it. That's been the Parks Department is primarily, but it's been other people as well. To to my knowledge, there should be permits pulled for anybody who's doing road work up on the mountain.
So just to be clear, was it going up? You said going up which road and then turning left?
Elgin Boulevard.
Oh, okay.
So I know exactly what you're talking about because the mountain bike community knows about this. And so you go up El Granada Boulevard, you open the gate, you take the road all the way up to the old gun club. And then they're driving a road through there, the paving and doing road work at the very tippy top. of
And
that
do you know
road.
who it is?
I have no idea.
Okay, I'll find him.
They shouldn't be.
It
paid.
seems unlikely that it would be PG&E. I don't think they
Okay.
usually do road work.
Yeah, the first report I got, somebody said PG&E was working up there when I called
That's
them.
what
They
they
said
thought.
they weren't doing any kind of road work, but they do access their equipment up there.
And that would be great if they access their equipment up there.
Yeah.
Would probably be a better route than going up on Turner Mountain Road. But somebody's doing something up there. Nobody knows who it is. We've reached out to your office multiple times, as well as to other people in the county government. There is no response. We don't know what's going on. I mean,
First time hearing of that, so I'm sorry about that.
Well, you were on vacation.
Yeah, Okay.
Nicholas also said he was contacting PG&E. I don't understand why he's not contacting other stakeholders who are up there, so maybe you can.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll look into it, yeah. So,
If I were to guess, it's the watershed.
San Francisco water.
Yeah,
But it's all a guess.
if I would guess, yeah. All we know.
We'll narrow it down.
Oh,
Does
because all there
anybody else
is,
have questions?
there's just heavy equipment up there.
Bonnie?
I don't think so, just the same standard stuff for me. Any updates on Seton? Anything like that you
It's-
might have.
He's put in request, I don't know if it is what
Yeah.
we received back, so
Yeah.
when we get that report, we'll send it out to you and then report it next meeting, but
Okay.
I'll get it to you before the next meeting, that'll be.
That's okay, yeah, I mean,
I can answer you a little bit.
Oh.
With the MCC, you may have seen this, got a planning referral from the planning department. Asking us to comment on all these after the fact things that they needed to have approved. They sent it to us with a link that was expired. So we have had no way to find out exactly what they wanted us to comment on. And they have not responded to our request for them to send us a live link. That's what I know.
They did today.
They did. All right, take it back. We should look at it.
Okay. David,
Who
did you have-
did you say?
The planning department,
The
Planning, yeah.
county planning.
County planning sent that to you.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
I see one hand raised online, and that is Sid Young. Do you have a question for David?
Hi, David. Thank you for taking care of the stoplight situation because I went to Half Moon Bay twice over the weekend and there was literally no traffic. I mean, it took me only 14 minutes from Moss Beach, which is pretty much faster than usual, even, when there's school traffic, etc. But it could be possibly because there was a article in the San Francisco SF Gate saying about the backup and maybe people decided not to go to the coast because of it. But I appreciate it. I went to the Shamarita Festival, which was nice. And also, if you're going to reach out to agencies, I did watch a CCWD, that's Coastside County Water District, video a month ago. And it might be way too soon, but they had someone from the SFPUC approach them about having to make repairs to the dam up there. So I don't know if they could have started it already, but there's a big, multi-million-dollar project going on for that at some point. I don't know if they could have already been starting it or why they would take that route, but
Yeah.
you might want to ask them before you start beating the weeds.
Yeah, I'll contact them, but that's not the route they would take into the Village stand, but thank you
I
for
wouldn't
that.
think so.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions for David? I don't see any. Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks, David.
Are there other government officials present that would like to give a report? Sid?
I think I might have mentioned this last time, so apologize if I did. But MWSD announced there's vacancies, or shall we say, 3 offices and seats on the board are up for re-election in November, and that's for Division 1, 3, and 5. The map is on the website at mwsd.net. And the districts are both in Montera and one in Moss Beach Heights. The District 5 in Moss Beach Heights, they appointed somebody to sit in that vacant seat when Peter Decker resigned. And however, she does not live in Moss Beach Heights, and she's an at-large director, as are the other two directors in Districts 1 and 3. So the other two can probably still run for seats, but she cannot. And unfortunately, we have been over the time in trying to find someone for Moss Beach Heights. And I just want to put it out there that we do need someone to apply before the November election for that spot. And outreach is being put out now. It's on the website, and it was announced at our last meeting. I think Scott was a little confused. I didn't think he realized that District 5 had no director that lived in their district. But because we are still in the transition period of going from an at-large district to a by division district, you know, that might be his confusion, but this will be the last time we have to fill seats of, you know, everyone will have to live in their district after this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
Sure. Oh, sorry. Damn it. Am I still on? I have one other thing to say, and that is that the left. Sorry, what?
Make it fast.
I am. I'm sorry, my screen went, something funny happened. At LAFCO, they also announced that they're going to move up the municipal services review for the sewer districts on the Midcoast, which will include not only MWSD, but also Granada and Half Moon Bay, because of the Seal Cove issue. Thank you. It's going to be moved up by a whole year. It wasn't going to be till 27, 28, but it'll be next year now. Thanks.
Thank you, Sid.
Mm.
Are there any other public officials present who would like to give a report? I don't see anyone. In that case, we'll move on to public comments and announcements. Members of the public may have up to 3 minutes on any matter not listed on the agenda that is within subject matter jurisdiction of the MCC. Those wishing to speak on a specific agenda item will be given the opportunity when that item comes up. Are there any public comments this evening? Is there anyone in the room who would like to give a public comment?
This is money.
There's two people online.
I can see that.
Okay.
Alan, did you want to give a public comment? Oh. Going to the Zoom, I see Joanne Rakowski.
That is correct. Are
Please
you
go
ready
ahead.
for? Okay, thank you. My name is Joanne Rakowski, and good evening to all of you. I live in El Granada, and I'm here tonight to provide some information to you to think about in regard to the safe parking program in Pacifica that's going to expire at the end of June. And you might say, why are you mentioning Pacifica? It's because my goal is to bring this to your attention with the hope that you will support continuation and expansion of this program into the Midcoast. By way of background, the Pacifica Parking Program came about a few years ago as a settlement to a lawsuit by the ACLU. And this lawsuit was on behalf of unhoused individuals who had moved into RVs because they could no longer afford the rents in Pacifica. Now, when they did that, then they were parking on city streets, and neighbors complained about illegal dumping, as we might expect. And the city adopted an ordinance to prevent long-term RV parking. So the program that was developed as part of a settlement in response to the lawsuit is administered by the Pacifica Resource Center. And they work with the Coast's homeless outreach team, which is in the Midcoast and down in the Half Moon Bay throughout the week. And they also work with Abundant Grace and Coastside Hope. And the participating RV dwellers get ongoing services that include trash pickup and safe gray and black water dumping. And they receive wraparound case management to help them return to housing. And in fact, the executive director of Pacifica Resource Center, Anita Reese, has testified several times at Half Moon Bay City Council meetings. And since its inception, 27 individuals or 38% of the participants have in fact returned to housing and are no longer in RVs. But this program is going to expire at the end of June unless there's continued funding, which is why I'm here. Because the city of Pacifica can't do it alone. And the Coast Outreach team has identified needs along the mid-coast. And for example, they recently identified families with young children, including newborns, living in motorhomes near Half Moon Bay. So getting support to continue and expand the program would really be a win-win, because participants would get wraparound services to help them move out of the RV into housing, and neighbors who are complaining about trash and about illegal dumping would have a solution. So what I'm asking is for the Midcoast Community Council to reach out to Anita Reese, the executive director of the Pacifica Resource Center, for more information, and then to Ray Miller and other supervisors to save and to expand the program. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Joanne. Very excited to have you here to talk about that tonight.
Thank you.
The
Yeah,
next
if there's a
Sorry.
way that you want me to respond further, please let me know.
Okay, I appreciate that. The next person with hand raised, I think that says Astro Carlisle.
Yes, hi, I'm Astro, an intern from Pacific Coast TV, and I want to invite everyone to our open house on Saturday from 1 to 4 p.m. Join us for an exciting afternoon dedicated to creativity, communication, and community media. Visitors will have the opportunity to tour the studio, explore professional production equipment, and learn more about the growing world of podcasting, television, and radio. We'll also have a variety of musical acts performing and artists and vendors displaying their work. Thank you.
Did you say that was this Sunday?
This Saturday from 1 to
This
4
Saturday.
p.m. And if you look on the Pacific Coast television website, you can find more information there as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next person that has their hand raised is Sid Young.
Actually, I just was going to piggyback on what Joanne Rokowski said, and that is that I partnered up with somebody, I forgot her name now, but she works at the Pacifica Resource Center for the point in time homeless count. I think it was back in January or February. And I think we counted, well, I believe I saw the county results at 120 RV dwellers. So I don't know if that included Pacifica, but on the mid coast, there's quite a few in Princeton, and that's the only area we counted was Princeton and Moss Beach. There are other places I know they're trying to outlaw them parking along Capistrano. No, what is that street in El Granada, Avenue Alhambra, or one of those. But I was going to ask her if she knew if they give the if she's mentioned Blackwater waste disposal or something, and I always thought it would be a good idea if the county or whoever is handling those vouchers, if they could give them vouchers for pump outs. I don't know where they're dumping their waste, the people that are not doing it with permits in Pacifica or on the coast. But it is, quite disheartening to think that they're just dumping it right on the roads and in creeks. So that is important. But she mentioned that they need funding, and I don't know who's giving them their funding right now or if the county is. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Sid. I don't see any other hands raised. So I'm going to close public comments and move to the consent agenda. We only have one set of minutes to approve this evening due to a technical hiccup that caused a delay in finalizing the retreat minutes. So, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of May 13th?
No, I move that we approve those minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Please call the roll.
Scott?
Yes.
I'm yes. David? Yes. Kimberly?
Yes.
Connie? Yes. Passes 3-5-0.
Thank you. That brings us to the regular agenda. And the first item on the regular agenda tonight is the county's 40-unit housing cap policy. And I'd like to welcome Bharat Singh, who agreed to join us on short notice to talk with us about a proposed amendment to the county's 40-unit housing cap policy. He's the planning services manager in the Department of Planning and Building. So thank you for coming, Bharat.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, the council members. I would like to share my screen so that I can share the presentation that I gave, a modified presentation that I gave to the Planning Commission, if that is allowable through the chair.
That would be great.
Just request to
Oh, she said you have to request to share.
Okay.
There you go. I think you have permission.
All right. Let me see if I can work this out. All right. Let me know if you can see what I am presenting.
We can. Looks great.
All right. Thank you. So today morning, we presented to the Planning Commission the policy 1.223 amendment for the San Mateo County Local Coastal Program. Essentially, what the amendment is to change the way we average out excess affordable housing units over a 3-year period. So it includes the year that the permit was issued and the 2 following years. And we are looking to amend it to average out looking backwards rather than forwards. And I will get to the reasons why in the presentation. So a little bit of background with regards to this 40 units limit. Originally, when the LCP was formed, we had a 125 units per year allowance for the urban mid-coast. In 2006, due to infrastructure constraints that were raised by the community and were recognized by the county, we had recommended a reduction to 75 units per year. However, the Coastal Commission really went back and forth with the department and the county to try and come up with something that would be acceptable across. So we decided on and settled on 40 units to the per year. The 40 units per year was reflective of the 1% limit that Half Moon Bay had passed, and based on the population that was there in the urban mid-coast, 40 units per year was equivalent to that 1%. In addition to that, the Coastal Commission also approved certain conditions that have to be met in order to go back to the Coastal Commission for raising the limit. These conditions were to improve traffic congestion, or not traffic congestion, but come up with a transportation plan, improve the stormwater and sewage facilities in the urban mid-coast, and then only would we be allowed to raise the limit, or we would be able, the Coastal Commission would accept an application to raise the limit. The only flexibility that was in there was regarding affordable housing, because we had raised a concern at that time that this limit may essentially reduce the opportunity for building affordable housing, because in order to build affordable housing, you have to have a certain number of units to make that project feasible. So that's where the compromise came about, where affordable housing units may be allowed to exceed the 40 unit limit, provided that there is a 3-year, the average of 40 units per year is the excess is averaged across 3 years, so that the 40 units per year is maintained. At that time, obviously this new limit was being put in place. There was no past data or history of this limit being in place to determine how it would function. So in the last 13, since 2013, when this this limit was put into place, the county has never exceeded the 40 unit limit, with barring 2025 when the Cypress Point project was approved. That year, 2025, 102 units, building permits were issued, which basically has limited us to being only being able to issue 18 new permits for 2026 and 2027. And this has raised a significant amount of concern with the department, primarily because essentially we on average are approving around about 29 to 30 units a year. And this limit would essentially have us not be able to issue any permits pretty soon this year, and then the entirety of next year. And we would anticipate a flood of applications come January 1st, 2028. And we've done some calculations, and the cascading overflow because of that may actually result in the cap being met every year from 2028 all the way down to 2031. And the restrictions, the limits because of that may also result in the state looking at penalizing us for that. And again, this is coming from what the state has done in the past and how it looks down upon any kind of limits due to the housing crisis in the state. So here is how we think that the limit is going to impact the urban mid-coast permits. So as I mentioned, since 2019, the average number of permits that we are issuing is around about 29 to 30 units per year. And should, with the cap in place at this point, we potentially would have 42 units already in queue, and this is being a very optimistic assumption here, on January 1st, 2028. And that would immediately have 2028 reach the limit. And in order to fulfill that excess 42 units, it would gradually have to be met over the next 4 years. And we assume optimistically that we will only be able to overcome this backlog by 2032. And this is again assuming that we keep the average of 29 to 30 permits per year. It could very well be that because of this limit that we have, there is an excessive rush in 2028, and that might exceed the average 30 unit limit, 30 units per year that we are expecting. So this could actually potentially push further down into 2033, 2034. But this is being the most optimistic. The table that you see here is just the history since 2013 of what's been issued, what was been the cap balance for each year, and the types of units that have been developed over the past. And as you can see, since the new ADU law came into place, there is a much more a much larger number of ADUs permits being issued over the last 5 or 6 years. And what we are going to see with this, we anticipate, is a lot of community members who were planning ADUs or they're building their homes on vacant lots will probably have to wait the very least 2 years, and that will cascade down further out. So if you are planning something in 2028, you have to think about 2030, and then as you go out, that will extend further, and hopefully, in the most optimistic case, would balance out by 2033. So we looked at alternatives. What could we do to avoid this situation of having this backlog and limiting people from applying for ADU permits and their new unit permits? So the one alternative which is embedded into the policy is that we provide the Coastal Commission with all the requirements as listed in the LCP, which is a transportation plan and improvements to the wastewater and stormwater infrastructure. To that extent, the county had prepared and approved the Connect the Coast Side plan. And under the Connect the Coast Side, there have been several projects that have been built. The most significant one is the East Side Trail that starts in North Half Moon Bay all the way up to El Granada. And as many of you are aware, the SR1 safety project that we are diligently working to get Caltrans approval for. Both of those came through the Connect the Coast Side project. We also completed a travel demand management plan jointly with Half Moon Bay, which is called Getting There Together. And we are constantly looking for funding to fund some of the programs that are in that plan. And then in addition to that, the Sewer Authority Midcoast side has been putting a lot of improvements in their infrastructure. We have better stormwater management with the infrastructure that's been put in the past, and then what they are doing right now in terms of the wastewater pipe are all working towards the requirements that were part of the LCP. We do believe that these would satisfy those requirements. However, getting them approved through the Coastal Commission and the approvals process would probably take us pretty much the entirety of the next 2 years, which again would not alleviate the issue that we are immediately facing. So to that extent, the county staff looked at other methods to be able to alleviate that. We discussed several permutations and combinations of what could be done. However, we came to the conclusion that if we amended the averaging method to look backwards rather than forwards, that might be an easy way to be able to alleviate this issue while maintaining the 40-unit cap. So what we intend to do is, in the past, we've never really met the 40-unit cap, and we believe that we have about 166 potential unrealized permits that we did not issue since 2013. And if we look backwards and try and average out backwards, we are able to utilize those unrealized permit that we could have issued and avoid restricting the permits for 2026 and 2027. What this does is, in case of affordable projects, and again, when I say affordable projects, they mean certified, deeded affordable projects, we can look at that cap that we have 166 units and count them towards those beyond the 40-unit limit, and not penalize the community at large that are trying to build their ADUs and homes on their vacant lots for 2026 and 2027. So we did speak with the staff at the Coastal Commission, and they actually were appreciative of this approach. They think that they can get this passed get this approved by the Coastal Commission as a de minimis amendment. So we are hopeful that should we be able to get the board's approval in the next month, we should be able to turn it around and send it to the Coastal Commission, and optimistically by September get their approval so that we can start issuing permits again. So what the change in language would be to accommodate this would, so the existing language is up in the on top, which the language in the italics essentially is what is there right now, and I'll just read it. The growth rate average over the 3-year period that includes the year of building permit issuance and the following 2 years does not exceed 40 units a year. And this is again for affordable units. And we will change that to the annual average number of permits issued from January 1, 2013, the year after the adoption of the growth limit was certified by the Coastal Commission, through and including the year of building permit issuance does not exceed 40 units to the year. And again, this will only be applicable if there is a affordable housing project that comes, and it'll be applicable retroactively to the Cypress Point project, which again, the next slide here shows how that would be accommodated. So the graph on the left-hand side shows you 2025, we exceeded by 62 units, and the light blue that you're seeing on 2026 and 2027 is to account for that excess. So the orange that you see in 2026 is about 18 units that we can issue permits for this year. After that, we'll have to stop and not issue anything for 2027. In the graph on the right, what we are doing is taking the excess and averaging it out across all the years in 2013, and per year there is you would add about 5 units for each of the years up to 2024, leaving 2026 and 2027 open for the for regular applications for ADUs and new housing units, open for people to apply and therefore be able to meet that average 30 to 31 units that we issue on a regular basis per year. So today morning, we made the presentation to the Planning Commission. There was quite a bit of conversation. If any of you were listening in, you must have heard all of that. The amendment was passed with 4 votes to 1, and we are hoping to take it to the board for consideration by June 23rd at the earliest. We will have to see if we make the internal deadlines for submitting a item for the agenda. So hopefully we will be able to do that, and we will take it in June. If we don't make the June date, it's likely to go in August because July the board would be in recess. So with that, that's my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna go around council first. Scott, would you like to start?
Hey, thank you so much for the presentation and bringing this to our attention. I really appreciate that and the clarity at which you presented it. But I have to say that first off, growth limits allows infrastructure to keep up with the growth, right? That's why it's there. With respect to how much water we have, electricity, traffic flow, all those types of things. So, and the fact that you said that you're going to go back in time and utilize something that is gone, that's gone. I mean, you could say, why not go back to prehistoric times and say there was nobody here, and why don't we just go back in time and take all that potential utilization of hookups? Why stop? It seems ridiculous to me that you would go back in time and say, oh, we have a surplus. Now, when you say that we have a surplus of housing, do you really think we have a surplus? Do you really think we have extra water? Do you really think we have extra infrastructure to meet this proposed increase in housing that you're going to put on the Midcoast? I mean, that's what your presentation says, right? And so also, you say the way to resolve this problem is to, put money into infrastructure, and you have proposals. But where's the money coming from? The county doesn't have any money to do this, right? Mueller already says we're negative. We don't have money. We're losing money. So if you increase the number of houses before you fund the infrastructure, it just seems like a recipe for disaster, because one thing we're really interested is resilience. So if we have a tsunami or a fire, we need to get out of here. So when you add more housing, are you going to put another tube through the tunnel? Are you going to put 4 lanes on 92? I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. Especially going back in time and scooping up some funny numbers that allows you to make this work from a mathematical standpoint. It seems absolutely ridiculous to me. So, I mean,
Excuse me, can we get him to stop sharing screen so we can see you all?
I don't understand where it's coming from. Where's the money? Where are you going to make 4 lanes on one? I don't understand. So, I mean, but that's my comment.
A question or?
The question is, where's the money to do all this for the infrastructure? I don't understand how you can just do that. So in the most respectful way possible.
Do you want to respond to any of that, or do you want to just keep going?
She knew through the Public Housing Safety Committee.
I mean, what you are suggesting in terms of where is the infrastructure, as I mentioned in the previous, in my presentation, we will reach the same amount of units in 4 years' time, and you would have the same issue that you're mentioning right now. What we are trying to avoid is an administrative bottleneck out here in order to ensure that those people who want to build, which again is allowed as per the limit, can build.
But you're just changing that.
Again,
You're just
may I
changing
finish?
the
May I finish? The limit has not been changed. What is being changed is, excuse me, can I finish, please?
Sure, go ahead.
The limit has not been changed. What we are changing is the duration of time that you would require to average out all the units. If we don't do it right now, you will reach the same amount of units by 2032. If we don't do anything, or if we do something right now, you would still get to the same amount of units by 2032. There's no change in that. So if, as you mentioned, there isn't much money to do all these things, there won't be any money. Either you take this approach or take the what we have recommended. By 2032, you would reach to the same amount of units. So what we are trying to do is alleviate some of the concerns or the needs of the community that wants to build and is allowed to build right now, so that they can build and not have to wait 2 years, 4 years to get their permits. That's all that we are trying to do.
That is ridiculous. That statement's ridiculous, but go ahead, sorry.
Claire?
That's ridiculous.
I think maybe we're going to have a lot to say, so maybe we should just keep going around and you can address this all when you're finished. I have many things to say. I'm going to narrow it down to 3 for right now. One is the rate of growth. Even if we end up at the same number at some point in the future as we would have if we had not changed the plan, the rate of growth is going to change, and that actually makes a difference. I think that most people in this community do not want sudden increases in growth. I don't think most of us feel like we need to cater to the developers. So the rate of growth is one of my things. Second thing I want to bring up is the infrastructure. You say we've made major improvements in infrastructure since this plan was adopted. You cite the transportation plan. The transportation plan was something the county had to do, and we supported it because the county had to do it. We tried to play with them constructively. It basically was not, they made no difference at all to the coast side. It was stuff like, having park and ride lots and having carpools and stuff like that. That doesn't affect us. We have major traffic problems here. You said we've improved our wastewater management. We have not improved our wastewater management. We still have the same problems that we had 13 years ago. And the third thing is we have been trying to get, we were shocked to see that this was on the planning commission's agenda today, because the Midcoast Community Council and the Midcoast in general was not notified of this and not asked for our opinion. And we're the only people in this whole county that this thing affects. You should have had the respect for us to come to us first before you decided to go ahead and pass this as though it was urgent, because it isn't. That's all I have to say.
David?
Yeah, I agree with Claire with at least coming to the Midcoast Community Council earlier than now. So I think we should work on that. How many currently do you have backlogged as far as wanting permits? What does that look like? And then would you be restricting any of this year over year? Because I understand from what you've said, there's about 28 average of what we've approved throughout this time span. Do you anticipate it still being around 28 a year? What does that look like as far as permits if this were to move forward?
Should I answer, or are there other folks that would like to comment?
If you want to go ahead and answer, David, or would you prefer to wait?
I can answer this. This is relatively easy. So right now we have in the pipeline about 24 permits. So we will hit the 18 pretty much this year, and we would not be able to issue 6 of those permits that are in the pipeline for being processed. What we have done at this point is we've stopped accepting any permits, and we have canceled out permits that had a long, were inactive for a certain time. So I don't remember the number of permits canceled, but 24 active ones are there, and of them 18 would be given a permit at the end of the process, and 6 would not be. With regards to the average, since 2013, the average has been about 28 units per year. However, if you look at, if you have seen the table that was part of the staff report, you can see there is a significant uptick after the ADU law was passed. And taking those years into context, it has jumped basically 1 to 2 units more. So we suspect that that same trend would sort of progress in that same fashion. So you could safely assume that in maybe 2 or 3 years' time, your average may go up to about 33 units per year, which essentially will happen going forward. The state itself has very aggressively looked at these new laws to further divide single-family parcels. At this point, it's not, unless it's part of an LCP, it's not applicable to the coastal zone. However, there is a lot of back and forth between the Coastal Commission and the state, and who is to say that the state might come in and override the LCP restrictions in terms of, say, the applicability of SB 9. We don't know that. That aside, we are not really taking that into consideration. What we're looking at here is essentially, come 2028, we will have a backlog of, at the very least, 42 permits that should have been issued between 2026 and 2027 that immediately would hit the 40-unit limit for 2028. And then the 30 that we assume would be there for 2029, 2028 would then trickle down into 2029 and so forth and so forth. And we, optimistically assume that we would balance that out by 2032. If there are more applications because some state law changes, then you can, you would level out further down the road rather than in 2032. So what we are trying to do is essentially try and avoid that bottleneck and try and avoid having to restrict the development of these units. These are not these are ADUs. These are units that people who are already living there are trying to build for whoever their extended family members or what some other reasons, or people who have vacant lots that want to build their homes out there. They will all be restricted and have to delay their projects. Most optimistically 2 years, but realistically it might extend up to 4 years. So that's what we are trying to do. Hopefully that answered your question with regards to the numbers.
Okay, Connie?
Thank you, Bharat, for coming. I really appreciate, again, the presentation and giving us some idea of what's going on. So I guess, although I'm supportive of what my colleagues are saying here, I think for me, it would be helpful to understand what formulas that you put in place to determine the number of units that could or should be built. So obviously you're sensitive to the infrastructure and sewer and all that kind of stuff that goes on. So when you decide how many units to actually allocate, I know you put the cap on, this is really going to extend it out. What is the formula that you would use to say it's okay now to just open that up? Is there criteria that you use that there would be so much investment? Part of the problem we have with infrastructure here is also that, we hear from people, particular agencies, that we don't have enough tax basis to support infrastructure or things like that, and so we're kind of like in this catch-22. We don't have enough money here to support development of infrastructure or support of it, but at the same time, we can't do it because we don't have the infrastructure. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do you determine how many units it is acceptable to allocate to this area? What are the criteria that you use to determine that?
So when this decision was made at 40 units to the acre, 40 units per year, pardon me for that mistake.
Pretty dense.
So that was determined prior to me joining, but what I learned of the process, essentially when this update was happening to reduce it to 75 units per year, I believe that the Coastal Commission really wanted it at 0 till the infrastructure, could be resolved. But that would have, at that time, the community really didn't want to have no possibility of developing anything on plots that they've already invested in. So there was a bit of a back and forth that happened. The Coastal Commission then, I think, recommended that we look at other limits in and around the area and try and match that. So 75 was at, I think, a 2% growth rate determination. So looking at the population and what growth rate would be acceptable. So 2% was what the county had recommended, but the Coastal Commission looked at what Half Moon Bay had recently passed, which was essentially they can only allow more housing units at a 1% annual growth of their population. So what we did was we looked at the population at that time for the urban Midcoast and looked at what would 1% growth mean, which came out to be 40 units. And that's how that was determined. There wasn't really a infrastructure-based assessment per se. It was essentially saying, let's limit growth to 1%. And that's how that 40 unit per year limit came about. So that's the history of it. Going forward in terms of infrastructure capacity, bottom line, when a permit is being issued, all the utility districts are asked that they provide their inputs in terms of can they support a water connection or a sewer connection. Most applicants have to get those approvals before we can issue a building permit. So for us, if we don't get those agreements or they're not provided to us, we can't issue a building permit. So we are limited that way in terms of what the infrastructure is available right now. And will those districts or utility districts, are they willing to provide connections to that development? And then only we provide the building permit is issued. There are certain conditions that have to be met that we put in. Some of them are related to stormwater management and things like that, because we have new stormwater standards that we have development standards that we have prepared. So it's not as if we approve a project without really considering the infrastructure. We defer to the agencies that are providing the infrastructure to say, yes, we can provide that infrastructure or those connections.
Okay, well, that's helpful. Thank you. I mean, I get that for the utilities. I guess I'm thinking broader swath against the, emergency services here, road work, things like that. It sounds like that's really not taken into consideration when you come up with these calculations.
So that does actually, in certain ways, is taken care of because the fire department does comment on projects. So if there is, and one of the things that I think as things will go, things progress, there are new approaches to evacuation planning. And again, I'm just ancillary spectator to that. That's more or less handled by the Department of Emergency Management. That they look at a lot of that and try and prioritize what needs to happen in different parts of the county in terms of making sure that they meet their bare minimum standards in terms of evacuation. So that planning does happen, but outside the planning department, but that does inform how we permit.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know the emergency management and form planning. I mean, I have friends and neighbors who are impacted by this, so I'm glad to see that there's some creative thinking, that it may help the community in some ways, but I think there's a lot of nuances to it that, understanding a little better might help us in terms of being able to support something, like making such a big change. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, that leaves me with some questions, Bharat, and of course, some of the questions I've already raised, but I'm just gonna try to fill in here. So by my thinking, the 40-unit cap is a cap. That's a maximum not to exceed. That's not a quota to fill. And the Coastal Commission, if you go back and read their report on the initial settlement on this 40-unit cap, they actually did extensively look at infrastructure limitations and consider that in arriving at that number. And I agree that I don't see that those have been significantly improved over the last 13 years to justify this change. The way I see it, the cap is functioning the way it's supposed to, and the only change here is that the county wants to accommodate the builders and accommodate its staff rather than accommodate the best interests of the public here. And that's what I'm most concerned about, because slipping this into an agenda before a holiday weekend, when people are not going to be paying attention and not going to be available, seems to me egregious in terms of, being a public servant who the county is supposed to be serving the whole community, not just the building community. And so that's a great concern to me. The planning and building department exists as part of county government to serve the whole public, not just one segment of the public. The other thing I'd like to, just going through some of the things that you said, Could you share with us the fire and the DEM comments on your proposal so far? I'm assuming you shot this by them. Did that happen?
No, that is not uh, general protocol because this is not a project. They comment on projects specific permits. This is a policy amendment. They are, as the public has the opportunity to attend these meetings and provide their comments, they are also open to provide those comments themselves. So it's not as if their comments aren't they aren't allowed to comment. They are free to comment um, at the planning commission, at the board hearing. They are, open to comment on any kind of policy change that we make. Unlike an actual building permit or a planning permit for a specific project, that's when the planning and building department actually initiates a conversation with them so that they can look at the details of a specific project to be able to comment on.
Okay, I'm surprised by that because a policy change is significant. It's a serious and significant policy change. And I think it would warrant input by those agencies in this case, especially as regard to the limited infrastructure and the risk involved. That doesn't really make much sense to me that you wouldn't consult them. And it seems to me a history in planning and building generally that there's not a lot of analysis that goes in and serious reporting as these policy changes are suggested, and they should really heavily rely on this kind of data. And I'm surprised that it's not. And I would like to request that be given more attention going forward. You said earlier predictions are signaling a significant increase in applications, and that concerns me as well. And I noticed in your presentation this morning and just a few minutes ago, you kind of indicated that you're seeking at some point a 75 unit cap. Is that true?
Yes, we hope to go back to what we had in the past because we believe that what was asked for in the LCP in terms of coming up with a transportation plan and other pieces of infrastructure that needed to be improved, which we believe has been done. Again, we had done Connect the Coast Side for a while now, but we never really went to the Coastal Commission with it because we were seeing that we were hitting the 40 unit cap per year. So there wasn't no immediate need to go to the commission and get their approval on Connect the Coast Side as one of the requirements as listed out in the LCP for a limit cap limit increase. But what we are seeing right now is the state has very actively pursuing removing any and every hurdle towards housing, and rather than be forced through litigation by the state or penalization by the state, we would like to try and increase our ability to approve housing in the urban mid-coast because we have provided what was asked for in the LCP. There is no guarantee that the Coastal Commission will agree with us, but that is something that we are looking at as a necessary effort to be made so that we don't get into this situation where the state might come in and just override our LCP.
Okay. And then I have a couple of other things written down here. I guess what I want to understand is, who do you see as the planning department serving? Do you feel that you're serving the general public? Or do you feel that you're only serving builders? Well,
Ma'am, the permits that come to us, particularly in the coast, are single family developments and ADUs. Now, you can argue that those are developers. We look them as the people who own those properties trying to build based on their needs. It's primarily ADUs, additional dwelling units, and units on their vacant lots, which they, have purchased and are looking to build their house. I don't think beyond Cypress Point in the recent past we have had a significant multi-unit development happen on the coast side. So you may look at them as builders and developers. We are looking at them as the owners of those particular parcels that want to build an ADU or want to build their house. And by our responsibility in terms of what we can allow to build as per our zoning ordinances, we have to process those. What we are seeing here is essentially because of this gap, we are going to deny a significant amount of permits from being accepted and issued, and therefore denying those individuals who want to build an ADU or their house to be able to do so in a time period that suits them. They would have to wait till they can actually apply for a permit. So that's where our approach is. And as your comment about us being beholden to builders and developers, please go ask any builder and developer if they get their way with the planning department.
But they are.
I've talked to them.
Please, I mean, we treat anybody that comes through the door based on our zoning ordinances and the planning, the general plan and other regulations. And if they meet those standards, that's when a project is approved. So
with all
beyond,
due respect, I was sitting at a cafe a few months back and two builders were having lunch. And the conversation that they were laughing about was that they felt that they could really do anything they wanted and the county would approve it after the fact. And there was no problem with that. It's kind of a culture of knowing that the county is going to fall at their feet and give them what they want. And I really feel that, the system needs to be looked at more closely to look at how it can work for the whole public in an equitable way. And I'm very concerned that every unit of market rate housing increases traffic on our road for people commuting over the hill to their jobs. That's huge. And if you're talking about 75 market rate units a year, that's a huge increase over a 3-year period in terms of traffic on the road commuting over the hill to jobs, because we have more housing here than we have jobs. This is not the first time you're hearing that, obviously, but that's a significant problem. I appreciate your responses, and I'm going to stop there and move to the public. But is there anything else you'd like to say in regard to the comments and the questions from the council before I move to the public?
all I can say is, 75 seems a very high number, but if you look at the progression over the last 13 years, we have not even reached 40. And there is no reason to think that that would significantly jump because what we're doing right now, or if we are successful in moving it to 75. So yes, it feels as a big number, but then the actual number of permits issued show a different story. And we are basing our decisions on those actual factual numbers.
But I don't see any numbers related to the highway capacity. You have to relate the capacity of the infrastructure to the building capacity. There's no way.
As I mentioned, unless there is a local infrastructure agency says yes, that they can provide the services, the building permit is not issued. Traffic is a separate and regional issue, which again, we are working with our regional entities to try and figure out how to alleviate. But that is not something that is immediately within our ability to say yes or no to a project, unless the project requires a CEQA analysis, which again, the state has changed the rules on that. But we do consider all of those things for significant projects. What we are talking about here are individual units that have already been analyzed and approved in terms of the general plan and the zoning that is allowed in the urban mid-coast. So, the concern that the community has about traffic is absolutely paramount for us. And again, we are doing everything we can as per our abilities to be able to affect regional challenges. We are doing that. As I mentioned, this effort with trying to come up with these improvements on SR1 is pretty much in hands of Caltrans and SMCTA, and we are working very closely. This is a project that we initiated. They didn't initiate it because we are concerned with traffic as much as you are. However, it is a different type of infrastructure that we don't really have that much control on.
Okay, thank you, Barat. I'm gonna go to public questions now. The first person with their hand raised is Sid Young.
Thank you so much, Bharat. I see that we have an issue for local builders that, like you say, own single-family lots. And I see it because I'm on the board of MWSD and they come to our meetings seeking information about permits. And, we've been giving out permits, but now with 2-year moratorium based on the county giving out 71 permits to one developer, now both GCSD and MWSD will be out of business as far as that income goes. And so will the small property owners that would like to get permits. So I kind of appreciate your look back plan. I do also agree with a lot of the people on this committee, council, that are saying that's a lot of extra building. But I do have questions for you. One is, you mentioned that some of the, planning that you think is finished is they accomplished the connect the coast side, but you failed to mention it's unfunded. They never have funded it. They just made the plan, put it in a drawer. So that's really useless as far as I'm concerned, because I don't think I don't know about when you say the State Route 1 plan, is that the Moss Beach corridor or the paving that's going on right now? The Moss Beach corridor won't be done till 2030, and Mid-Penn will already have their doors open by then, I assume. So there'll be a lot of traffic accidents before they put in stoplights or roundabouts up there. That's an issue for me since I live in Moss Beach, and Connect the Coast Side should have helped that out. We don't have any bike paths all the way down to El Granada. So Montero, Moss Beach are two big communities that don't have any bike trails at all. So that's not going to help traffic at one bit. And then when you say Sam is taking care of stormwater, Sam does not accept stormwater. Sewer Authority Mid-Coast Side only treats sewer wastewater and not stormwater. And the county approved the Mid-Penn project, and their project said that their stormwater could go into the storm drain in Carlos Street, and there is no storm drain in Carlos Street. And then they said it would run out into the marine reserve if it overflowed from their catch basins. So that was a mistake. So what has the county done? I don't think they've done a lot towards helping out the Mid-Coast get extra infrastructure going. And I do worry that they're planning to upzone the El Granada Cabrillo Unified School District parcels into higher density parcels so they can let another developer build a big project. And they still won't have fixed any of our traffic concerns. I agree that the Sewer Authority Mid-Coast Side is working on their sewage treatment problem, because we finally settled the lawsuit that's been going on since 2017. So they are building the rest of the intertie pipeline, the transmission line for the wastewater. But I do want to point out one thing that you didn't mention, and I don't know if it stands to reason, but if you go back to 2011, that is when Montero Water and Sanitary District lifted their water moratorium that had been going on for over 30 years. So that's why you see more building going on from let's say 2012 on. Because people suddenly realize, hey, we can build on these vacant lots up here now. So people have been starting to build. And that's where a lot of probably the building is coming from, is Montero and Moss Beach, where there wasn't any building going on. Prior to that, most of the building was going on in El Granada, and they were doing what they call gray water transfer permits and stuff to
Vince, please wrap it up.
Okay, well, that's it. I don't have anything to say, except he forgot to mention why we only had 2 permits in 2011. I mean, I think he said 2012 or something. And that's because Montero finally lifted the water moratorium. And that's a big reason why there's more development on the coast now, is there's finally water up there. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris Johnson is next. Chris?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Yes, I'm at the Half Moon Bay High School baseball game. They won, by the way. They're going to the CCS championship on Friday. But for this topic, hard, no. Absolutely not. The LCP was amended down twice to its current amount. But very thoughtful people in a thoughtful process got it to that amount. And I'm sorry if the county went ahead and improved a big project without thinking ahead of what problems that this would cause. But the infrastructure is not there, as many people have said. I'm really upset by some things that were said in the staff report. The county has worked diligently towards addressing the critical infrastructure issues identified in LCP policy 1.23. The only specific mention of projects completed was the Half Moon Bay to El Granada East Side Bike Trail has been completed, unquote. No, it has not. So that's just an example of like, this is not right. The infrastructure is not there. And to backfill it 13 years or 16 years or whatever, 2013, wherever, however far they want to go back is ridiculous. And another thing I'll say is that even if that were to be done, the fact of the matter is 70 projects are being built in the next couple of years. There is going to be a lot of building here. And that's why the LCP has that restriction, to spread stuff out. And I'm sorry if there hasn't been 40 over the years, then that's the way it is. But the other thing, last thing I want to say is, and I think Claire brought this up, and I looked at the correspondence between Claire and county. Yeah, to schedule this the morning before the MCC meeting, the first chance to discuss this in public. What's the rush? Why does it have to be done so fast all of a sudden? This Cypress Point was approved back in 2025 or maybe even earlier than that. What's been happening this whole time? Why does it have to be such a rush? That feels sketchy to me, and I feel like it doesn't sit well with the community. I don't want this LCP amended upwards or to 75 or stretched out back 13 years. That's ridiculous. This is the way it is, and everybody has to deal with it. County approved that project, and it's on them to deal with the consequences, not change the law, backfill the law to make up for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chris. Greg Diegues?
Thanks. Let me start out by saying we live in a death trap here. On December 5th, 2024, a tsunami warning occurred. As a result, a police officer was nearly killed by a panicked driver. Traffic was gridlocked. First responders couldn't reach the coast side, and it wasn't even tourist season, and we proved we could not evacuate. There was an MCC stormwater report that documented flooding on Highway 1, trees falling on the road up by the tunnel, Cypress Point will make this disastrously worse, as we pointed out in our analyses of that project. But the county never responded, as far as I know, to our 2025 stormwater report, which documented the inadequacies in stormwater management. Has it updated design storms? Is it still using 2014 NOAA data? Has it mandated the impact fees we recommended for stormwater development? The water supply at MWSD is likely inadequate. They had to cut back the third year of a drought on using their mountain wells. They've since lost wells at Pillar Ridge and one of the 3 wells down near the airport. They have to do extra cleaning of nitrates, and they haven't produced in a strategic plan since 2017. So it's very unclear they have the water. I don't know what analysis has been done of the firefighting water supply. We've added a lot of larger buildings now. They haven't changed their firefighting water supply for decades. And as you know, for the Half Moon Bay water supply, BOSPA is already fighting over Tuolumne River water, indicating a long-term trend toward fearing shortages for the people down in Half Moon Bay. I would comment residential housing loses money unless the county and local agencies change their impact fees and rate structures. So the idea that we're going to profit from building more housing over here is false. We don't have evacuation capacity. We don't have reliable telecommunications. We don't have adequate stormwater management. We don't have reliable power. The sewer plant has been overloaded 3 times in recent years. A bottleneck in permit development is fine. No further growth is safe under current conditions. Why do people who want to profit get priority over the people who live here and their health and safety? And I would note there's a financial incentive for the planning department to approve permits. That's a portion of their revenue and funding stream. They are not an unbiased entity in this matter. There are 2 laws that appear not to be being followed. AB 747 requires an evacuation capacity analysis. SB 99 requires an analysis of emergency evacuation routes. I have seen no such analysis done when they approved Cypress Point, and there's no such analysis apparently accompanying this proposed revision to the LCP. There's an online tool called JOSH, J-O-S-H, which can analyze a region's evacuation capacity, and I think we should be doing it. Kimberly already pointed to a key issue. What's driving this change will benefit. We know who's going to be harmed. So is the planning department not responsible for taking the health and safety of current residents into account in its planning actions? According to state law, it is. Is the planning department failing in its duty and execution of public trust? The comment that they evaluate the Department of Emergency Management and Fire project by project is totally unacceptable governance. A policy change requires significant research on all the factors we discussed today, and it's malfeasance if it's not conducted and validating any safety issues. So adding any housing is already irresponsible. And increasing the limit going forward is engaging in negligence leading to manslaughter. This proposal must be rejected until more thorough conditions are evaluated, funded, and achieved. If this proposal is already adopted, it must be reversed. To the planning department, I say, spend your time fighting the state RENA requirements as the City of Los Angeles, the South Bay Council of Governments, Huntington Beach, and the San Diego Association of Governments, who are all working to reform RENA, which is legalized corruption and totally an invalid estimate of our housing requirements. Do not anticipate stemming from RENA. My questions for the council are, what is the MCC going to do about this issue, and how can I help?
Thank you. Are there any other public comments?
Speak from the room.
I have 2 here in the room. Alan, you want to go first?
Sure.
Can you step to the podium?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thanks.
I just have a quick question. I just want to make sure that when you use the word permit, you're talking about new construction. And nothing that you're saying affects applying for permits for alterations to existing structures.
That is correct. This is only for new housing units.
Okay.
Alterations, renovations are fine.
Thank you. Carl?
I don't know how many people here have been through the LCP process. I've been living on the coast side since the first LCP was generated. There's a requirement or at least there used to be, that the entire LCP be reconsidered by all LCP organizing places, counties and cities every 10 years. I've been through, those don't happen as often as they should, but I've been through 2 major rounds of them with this county. The county plays games with the real world. We live on a finite planet. We live in a finite state, and we live on a finite coastside. And we are very constricted as to buildable areas and whatever by a bunch of hills. We have our coastal terrace where most of the building takes place. And that's what we've got. Already, we have grossly exceeded the carrying capacity of this area as far as anything sustainable in the real world with real world resources like water. We've already exceeded that. So they build a pipeline over the hill to Half Moon Bay for Coastside County Water District. That has severely added to the impact of the whole Hetch-Hetchy system. And what we're doing now with any additional building on the coastside is exporting our footprint and our problems to other places. So anybody with a conscience could not go for this additional thing. 75 permits is absurd. 40 permits is absurd. Has anybody tried to drive down through Half Moon Bay in the morning when school is about to take this lower number of permits over the last 10 years or whatever hasn't reduced that at all. You know, that gets worse and worse. I don't know if you drive over here on the weekends, but you know, a lot of us just cocoon on the weekends. We don't get out on our local roads because the whole harbor area is jammed up. SAM capacity, SAM doesn't have the capacity for unlimited growth forever. It doesn't have the capacity for any more right now. They've had overflows. They go around and around. They go round and around by just maintaining the infrastructure they've got. The different agencies in SAM. You're going to add to that? There's no excuse in SAM for this. Connect the coastside. The coastal access Highway 1 and scenic rural areas shall remain a two-lane road. You're not going to increase the capacity of this highway, and there's no place to increase it. It's absurd to refer to connect the coastside as a rationale for getting past the cap. The unrealized permits, those aren't unrealized permits. Those are permits that never happened. They're gone. And yet, even with that lower number of permits, you have completely failed to keep up with the needs of the coastside, given our various infrastructure problems. Hardscaping. Do we need more hardscaping, more roofs and pavement on the coastside from more building? We can't deal with the runoff and so forth that we've got now. This is putting an enormous cart before the horse when you look at this kind of thing. Infrastructure ignorance is no excuse. Resource ignorance is no excuse. Half Moon Bay is Coastside County Water District is kind of wangling for maybe another pipeline, but where are they going to get the water for that other pipeline? They've already got problems getting enough water over here. There've already been consideration of cutbacks in the pipeline that they've got, you know, and the whole water district. So anyway, let me finally say that this whole idea that there's some holy writ or something somewhere that says anybody with a piece of property has a right to build. When people buy property, if that property doesn't have permits on it, there's no right to build yet. You own a piece of property without permits. You know you bought a piece of property without permits. Now, you can try to get the right to build on that piece of property, but there's nothing written in the sky about a right to build on that property. And right now, we'll all suffer if you increase this whole growth mania kind of thing.
Thank you, Carl. Are there any other comments?
There's one more, Dr. Evelyn.
Okay, I see hand raised. Dr. Evelyn, do you want to make a comment? We can't hear you.
Muted.
You're on mute.
Hi, my name is Dr. Evelyn France, and I live in Half Moon Bay. I grew up on the coast side in El Granada, and I am in the process of trying to develop a home on a lot. And we just saw the closure or the limitation of permits until 2028. And I hear the concerns. I'm a coastside resident. I have kids here. I sit in the traffic. I have a business here. Very invested in the coastside community. And I hear all the concerns about infrastructure, and I feel it too. It affects me in my daily life. And I also hope to be able to continue to live here and be where my family lives and where I was raised for the long term. And I was just curious if there was anything or any discussion around, when those eventual building permits become released, whether we go back and add the old ones or whether the same restrictions still applies, to separate the difference between larger developments and smaller single family homes or ADUs or things like that. Because, what's to say if we open up more permits that they're not going to give all 70 to one more project and it's all going up at the same time and it's not spread out over the coast. So just curious if that was part of the conversation is, maybe these larger projects are put in a different category than single family homes or smaller, ADUs or additions or things like that. So that was all I wanted to say. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Evelyn. Bharat, Evelyn's question is interesting to me. Could you answer it?
Certainly. So there's a couple of questions, so I'm going to answer one by one. And if I miss something, please do remind me. So first is yes, permits we're not accepting any permits right now. What we are working on is a process to set up a wait list so that come January 1st, 2028, we will then go through that wait list and give priority to folks. We haven't quite set that up yet. Like, we are trying to figure out what's the best way to do it. We cannot accept permits right now because of the Permit Streamlining Act, because if we accept a permit, we are supposed to take a decision on it within a given amount of time. And with this limit that we have, we would have to deny every permit, which is, grossly unfair to the applicants. So that's why we're not accepting any permits. So we are trying to work on a waitlisting system that hopefully within a month or so, we should be able to advertise and have people utilize that to sort of get in line, so to say. And in line means that's the priority that we would follow. Like, who came first will be processed first as a full-on building application, and et cetera, et cetera. So that is the process that we would follow. If in terms of preference over one type of development over the other, in the last 13 years, only one project had a multifamily or multi-unit project of that scale has come through, which is the Cypress Point. Other than that, it's always been one or two units built on single family lots. One or two units, I say, is like you can build a house and an ADU at the same time. So those are the kinds of projects that are essentially 99% of the permits that come in. We don't expect any new residential permits. We don't see anything on the horizon. So we can't say that there won't be anything in the future, but going by what what has happened in the past, it is essentially going to be ADUs and single family development. So we will advertise and let the community know when that wait list is in place, and then everybody can walk through that process to try and get in line so that come January 1st, 2028, we can utilize that to prioritize, invite people based on that priority to come in and submit their building permits, building permit applications. I hope I answered all your questions.
Can I comment?
Thank you. Just a moment. Thank you, Bharat. Claire, you have one final question, or?
I just wanted to follow up on what you said. As you know, your department does send us referrals on planning projects to comment on. We have at least two new single family permit applications that we're currently commenting on. One of them is in Seal Cove, which is a whole different story. But apparently there are some that are slipping through. If we ever did have a priority list, if you had a waiting list and you had to prioritize things, I personally would like to see you prioritize smaller houses, not the big ones. They would be less strain on the infrastructure, and they would be more in keeping with our middle class community. We don't really need a whole lot of McMansions. That's just my opinion.
And how about a little senior housing?
Senior housing would be good.
Okay, are there any other questions from people who have not asked questions yet?
Sid's got her hand up again.
I don't see any hands raised.
Could he clarify what he just said, though? About the permits that are in, there are only 2 permits already for this year, but I've seen it more than that go through coast side design reviews. So, and Claire said she had something for Seal Cove. So they're not accepting them, but they're still somewhat processing them. Is that the?
There are projects that are already accepted. So those are still going through the process. We are not accepting any new applications. So those that have already been accepted in the past year or beginning of this year, those are going through the process. As I mentioned earlier on, we can issue 18 permits till the end of 2027. And we already have 24 applications already in the process. So we will have to figure out what to do with the 6 that we can't really issue.
Thank you.
But this is, the wait list is separate. This is for new applications that people want to come in. We are trying to set up a wait list process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sid. I don't see any other hands raised, so I'm going to close public comment, and thank you, Bharat, for patiently answering all our questions and listening to all our comments. We really appreciate you coming tonight to do that, and I know it's challenging, and we appreciate you willing to come here on short notice to do that. So thank you so much.
And again, I thank you for the opportunity. And it was an oversight. The notice should have gone to you sooner. It seems like there was some missed email that was not sent at the right time. Unfortunately, these kinds of things do happen from time to time, and it was not intentional. I will personally make sure the MCC would be notified when we put this item on the agenda for the board, so that you are well aware, well in advanced time, that that's part of the agenda, and so that you can participate and provide your comments to the board. All comments are valid. I strongly encourage everybody who's commented here to send their comments to the board when this item is agendized. The other question I had for you is, I've prepared this presentation for the MCC specifically. Should I just email it to you so that you can upload it wherever you need to upload it?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay.
That would be great. We can put it on the website.
All right. I will do that tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, that brings us to, whoops. That brings us to the next item on our agenda.
Wait a minute. Do we want to, I'm sorry, but do we want to reach some sort of conclusion here or plan?
That's a good question. I didn't really plan from further discussion at this time, but do people want to discuss further?
I think we should have some sort of communication between us and the Board of Supervisors and the Coastal Commission.
I'd agree. I was gonna suggest the letter.
I would say the letter should say one thing. If your supervisor votes for this, I'm not voting for you. I mean, that's just. Yeah, if you vote for this, you're not supporting us. You don't have my vote in the next election cycle, which is
I don't
coming.
think it's that simple, Scott, really. I don't think it's that simple. There's other issues to consider, so.
Oh, dang it.
So,
You can't really campaign in this meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
but if the
But I
MCC
agree.
So if the MCC wishes to draft a letter to the Board of Supervisors and the Coastal Commission, who do I have to volunteer to draft such a letter?
Seems like most of us would be willing to do it. I would definitely be willing, but somebody may need to cool me down.
Kimberly, your comments were the most succinct. So, and the most less.
You can't volunteer.
I know, but not that you would do it, but your comments were, I think, the most critical and less emotional. So,
I'm happy to participate. I do not want to draft something alone.
okay.
Cause I've got a lot of things to do right now, so.
Okay.
If there is somebody who would like to volunteer to help with this letter,
I'll volunteer to help with you.
okay,
Claire and I can work on it.
But if, I
so
will stand back if one of you
No,
guys.
But we're limited to a number of people that are.
we're
allowed to do-
limited to.
We could have 2 others.
We're limited to 3 people, so
Right.
that's me, Connie and Claire. Is that what I heard?
I'm happy to help if anybody else.
It sounds
Claire?
fine
That's
to
what
me.
I'm writing down.
I'll put my name in.
Okay, you have your team. And I imagine we need to bring this back at the next meeting because the timeline appeared to be June, July.
Yep.
It's June, August.
Oh, no, I heard June, July.
June 23rd.
June 23rd.
June 23rd or August, because they're on recess in July.
Oh,
That's what I heard.
Because nothing's going on.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I guess it depends on how quickly it gets all supervisors.
He's going to apply for the 23rd of June.
The June Coastal Commission agenda is already set, so it would be August for Coastal Commission or September.
But it's the Board of Supervisors, she was
Board
saying.
of Supervisors, it's going to.
It goes first, but then it has to go
Yeah.
to the Coastal.
He's trying the June 23rd Board of Supervisors.
I mean, that's what I heard, that it would go to the Coastal
Yes.
Commission within 2 months.
Yeah.
So they're moving fast. Okay, is there anything else on this topic?
Unless you want more public input. Do we want to,
Beyond what we heard tonight?
yeah,
think
I'm
we've
just
got-
asking.
I think we've got everything. we need.
If the public wants to
I think we should just,
give us some feedback as
I
we
think-
develop this letter, I think that would be wonderful.
I think we need to ask for public comment and we have to draft it and let the public comment again as we've been asked to, right, before we send it.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Carl?
I also mentioned that this has to go before the coastal commission,
Yeah.
Right.
so they don't automatically rubber stamp everything San Mateo County wants.
Yeah.
So there's another round to be considered.
So one thing I would say is that at this moment in time, things are being moved very fast and our MCC and our planning commission, other bodies that are advisory are being questioned and looked at as formalities rather than, credible advisory bodies that are seriously listened to. And I think to up the ante, I hate to ask this, but the public really does have to send in written and verbal comments. We have to see more of those because after a while, if there aren't very many, the supervisor then says, well, I didn't see very many individual comments. So, as a council, you're just putting forth your opinion. And that's what we're supposed to do to represent the community. But I think for things like this, they need to show how much of the community is actually behind us.
So how would you like to do that?
It's a good question.
Now,
Kira.
we're talking about outreach in a second, right? That's the next topic.
We are gonna talk about outreach for a different topic, but,
Okay.
I think if we can encourage people on social media, we can encourage people at each meeting, we can encourage people by putting up a flyer with our agendas. There's lots of ways to do that, word of mouth.
So would you want me to do another thing like we did before about Montero and the other issue? Please put it on next door. If you have opinions on this, please send them to the Midcoast Community Council.
I think that
Sure.
works a little bit.
Cause I got 6, I just posted this meeting on it and next door and I got 6 responses.
The thing I'm getting at though is these comments have to go to the Board of Supervisors. They have to go to the Coastal Commission. Because if they come to us and we write our letter, we're gonna get the same result. There has to be a show of strength that's behind the council for some things, and this, I think, is one of them.
So we need a
That's-
work instruction for the community on how to do this.
Like going out and tabling
We
and saying
have
you
to
need to write a
encourage
letter.
them to actually send in their comments to those bodies. Because if the supervisor receives 50 to 100 comments versus
Our
1
letter.
or 2 or
Okay.
3,
Okay,
and then nice letter from the MCC, they've grown accustomed to that and they're ready just to ignore it.
okay,
So
This is public.
that is my best advice at this point.
okay,
So-
You need to reestablish the fact that we do represent a substantial community, and that substantial community has to prove that that these are the things they support. So, that's unusual, I know, but that's how it's feeling to me right now.
okay.
We have to just do more outreach to get people
Okay.
to, and there's both sides, like Dr. Evelyn, who's waiting on a permit versus people who don't
Yes.
want the growth. We have to like find a way to get
Right.
all of them to come forward,
Okay.
right, with
Okay.
what, not to solution it, but to make their voices heard.
Yeah. Is there anything else?
No, we have to work on that.
So I'll bring this back to the next meeting for a draft letter. I'm not gonna go back to public comment at this point. We are way over time.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So we're gonna move on now to the next topic on the regular agenda, which is the MCC election requirements and resolution approval. There are 3 resolution options that were posted on the website to consider for us to approve tonight. I hope you looked at them. Do we want to put those on the screen?
Sure.
We will have potentially 4 open seats at the end of the year for people who are up for re-election or who are stepping off the council. And our materials need to be into the county by July 1st. So it's a very short timeline. As mentioned previously, the elections office requires that the MCC submit a map showing the jurisdiction's boundaries effective for the election, the elective offices to be filled, specifying which offices, if any, are for the balance of an unexpired term, and whether the election will be conducted at large or by district. And a policy statement determining whether a candidate's statement will be limited to 200 or 400 words, and whether the candidate or the jurisdiction will pay for the candidate's statement. Those are the things included in the resolution options. David, do you want to walk us through those 3 options?
Sure.
Resolution Do you want us to put them on the screen?
Yeah, so the first option is resolution number 1, which is basically not reimbursing any candidate fees or any, 200 words statements that they're eligible to do. So that's the first reso, pretty simple. The second reso that is reimbursing the filing fees and only the filing fees. I believe I put a cap in there of $1,000 is all that the Midcoast Council will put forward. If there are any If we get a lot of people and we exceed that 1,000, we will just distribute the 1,000 based off how many people have applied. So instead of covering all of it, we may cover 75%, just depending on what that looks like. The thought was putting the cap in there. We don't have this huge budget, so I thought we should protect the budget that we currently have. The last resolution is basically paying for both the filing fee and also a 200-word statement for the candidates. And I upped that to $2,500 max payout from the MCC, just based off of the potential fee for the 200-word statement. I believe what I'm hearing, it could be between $300 to $500 each statement. And so that's kind of where we're at currently with the 3 resolutions. I have reached out to the county to try to get an idea of more concrete information of what the fees are going to be. So I'm waiting for an email response. I have not received that yet.
And I think Connie might have reached out to look at this
I
as
did.
well, right?
Did
Yeah,
you
I did.
get?
I did, and I forwarded the email to everybody. And so I don't want to say that what you said is wrong. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. The money, the payment starts to happen when you want a statement associated with your name. It's free.
Is that what it's just?
It's a statement.
Okay.
It's the
This,
statement.
200 words. Oh, I want to think it's $200 when I did it, and 400 words is 400. I'm not sure that's what's gonna happen now.
Does it say that on option 1?
Option 1 was paying option 1 was not reimbursing anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the county sent us the resolution templates and David just.
I just put it in and they had filing fees in the template.
So the filing fee is on the template.
It's on the template.
Yeah.
So that's
But
why I
it is-
included it because it wasn't.
Okay, so let's just, I'm gonna ask for one more piece of clarity. On the filing fees, did they say what it would cost if you did not want a statement?
It does not have the fees listed anywhere.
When I called, they said it was free. There was no
Okay,
filing. fee.
that's
It
what
was
my
just-
email to me, they said it is free. And
To file it.
if you want,
No, I was just going off of what the reso that they sent us had
Okay.
a section for a fee for the filing. If
Okay.
that's not accurate,
what was the fee for filing?
it didn't say, it didn't state it
It doesn't have
anywhere.
anything.
It's 0.
It didn't
The
say
fee
anything.
is, the fee
At
is
least for
0.
us, it's zero.
Yeah, it was for us.
To do with the fact that we're advisory.
I don't know, they decide what the fees are on each individual thing you vote for. So, I know the answer to that, hold on.
So as opposed to.
It's
candidates
ba-
running
the-
for state law.
The fee is based upon your salary at that position. So it's a certain percentage of what you're gonna get
You
paid,
don't get paid.
but we don't get paid, so the fee is 0. That's the answer to that.
I see.
So that's why it's variable. If you get paid $100,000, it's 1%. You know what that math is, I don't.
Yeah.
So that's the fee. Right, so,
Okay.
so that's how that works.
So really, the only resolution that we're up to for discussion is really the third one, which is reimbursing for the
Yes.
$200
Yes,
or the 200-word statement.
Or option 1, no reimbursement.
No reimbursement for that. Correct. So option 2 is
Off the
pretty
table.
much gone.
So are you proposing that we vote on this?
Why it's,
Are there questions?
yeah,
about
and the
it?
brackets for the reimbursement for what the MCC would be reimbursing for the total amount that we would put out of pocket. That's up for discussion. I just put that in as a placeholder. I didn't get any feedback from anyone. I just put that in there.
I think it's
And that's up
reasonable.
for discussion.
It's reasonable.
Okay, so
may I make one more comment?
please.
I have no problem with reimbursing someone for if they want to make a statement. When I went to the election office, they said, you can do whatever you want, but there's not enough people applying.
Correct.
It doesn't matter, you're gonna win anyway. So,
Don't put a statement.
I'm not disagreeing with the amount of people that are applying. I just think
Yes.
putting that in there to protect the MCC is important. I don't think we're even gonna have to worry about it.
okay,
I just put it in there as an added protection or an added
Okay.
layer.
Yeah,
So this is a policy statement rather than a plan, a project.
I think what's interesting to me is I wonder if we paid for a percentage of a statement, or whatever, would we have more people run?
I don't
That'd be
think so.
incentive.
I don't think so. I've never heard that's a reason people don't want to be in the MCC.
Okay, but just throwing the question in there. Bonnie, do you have any thoughts?
I'm okay to reimburse people for it at 200 words. I think,
Yeah.
you know, we won't have a lot of people potentially, and it would be good to have them feel that they're supported in coming out and running for the position. So,
I thought I heard that a 200-word statement would be several $100s.
well,
We
they set
don't
up.
know, it's all rumor.
No, well, he said they didn't have them, when I called, which was just, and I can call back again, they didn't have the dollar amount fixed yet, but it would be out soon, but he said the last time it was like 400 words, it was about $400. So it's probably around 200 or something, but we can clarify it.
And then the reso for the third reso option was only for 200
Yeah.
word statement.
Yeah.
If you want, you can move it up to 400 word. Like I said, these are placeholders, so
No, I think I
200.
just 200.
So but I would move that we approve the 200 reimbursement for the upcoming election. Is that clear enough to vote on?
I think the reso is fairly clear.
It seemed pretty straightforward.
Okay, so is
I
my,
mean, let's read through it just to make sure there's no modification we need to make,
okay,
because the council has to vote on exactly how it will be.
So everybody share number 3.
Which one should she share?
And I think it's reso 3 has the
Number
200
3.
word statement in there for a reimbursement.
Okay.
Sure, I got, so I have them open now, I don't know which one. The number.
Chris Johnson has his hand up.
Well, let's get this up on the screen first and look at it, and then I'll go to public comment. Are you close?
Yeah. Now that we just had 3 of them up and I didn't know which one. Okay. This should be it. So I'm sharing. Let's see, then.
No,
There.
there we go. Okay, well, it was there.
If you look to the bottom of the page.
Yeah. Somebody want-
Okay, there. That's the third one.
Okay.
Okay, David, do you want to walk us through it?
Want to walk through all the red? Or just
walk
the meat
The
and
language
potatoes?
that
Okay,
included.
let's go down to, keep going.
Section 1.
And really section, yeah, we see here. Well, basically for the election will be conducted at large. And each governing board member shall reside in the jurisdiction, shall be elected by the registered voters in the entire jurisdiction. So that piece I selected because I know we had conversations about that last time. Keep going.
Number 4.
Yeah, that's just normal.
5.
Number 8 is basically. This is the statement shall be limited to 200 words. The prorated cost, printing, mailing, and translation, the statement shall be paid by the candidate and may be eligible for reimbursement pursuant to section 9 of this resolution. And so section 9 basically has all the different regulations or whatever I put in here. So the first, I'll just read it. Section 9, the Midcoast Community Council shall reimburse qualified candidates for the official candidate filing fee and up to $350 towards the actual cost of one 200-word candidate statement associated with the election, subject to the following conditions. A is reimbursement shall be available equally to all qualified candidates appearing on the ballot for the election. B is reimbursement shall occur only after the candidates has qualified for the ballot and submitted proof of payment to the Midcoast Community Council. Reimbursement shall not exceed the actual costs incurred. And candidate statement reimbursement shall be limited to one official 200-word statement per qualified candidate. And then no reimbursement shall be provided for campaign materials, political advertising, website signs, or other campaign-related expenses.
Okay.
And then total reimbursement authorized under this resolution shall not exceed $2,000 for the election cycle. So that's all that we would put out. And then if the total eligible reimbursement requests exceed the approved funding limit, reimbursement shall be prorated equally among all eligible qualified candidates. And then this reimbursement program shall apply only to the election authorized by this resolution unless modified or extended by future actions of the Midcoast Community Council. So that's basically what was it? What's the resolution?
That is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay,
That is awesome.
is that what we want?
I think so.
Works for me.
Okay, I'm gonna
And the
go,
dollar amounts are fine, then the 2,000
Yeah.
total.
That's 10 people.
Yeah, that's why I don't think we'll get that many, but I just thought it would be good to put in there as a,
It may be 10 people.
yeah.
I'd like to go to public comment now. Chris Johnson is first.
Hello, I'm back. Now I'm in my car driving back home from the game. Also, I want to apologize earlier. I have a bad chest cold, so it sounds like I get it all. Or I couldn't breathe. I was trying to talk, couldn't breathe. Okay. Resident of El Granada, former MCC member, former MCC chair, and I guess I don't understand why this reimbursement is being offered or proffered. For me, I don't understand. I don't know why MCC funds would be used for that. And to me, whether or not people are choosing to run for the MCC or leaving their positions early or whatever, that's some other systemic issue that needs to be addressed. But I am fully against reimbursing people for whatever it is, their candidate statement or whatever. If somebody wants to be on the MCC, they owe the community a commitment and a dedication. And if it's $200 is too much for them, then I guess my feeling is they probably wouldn't last their entire term anyways, if that's the level of interest. And I just don't think that, and I know people will say that's not what, but paying people to run for the MCC is a bad precedent, and it's not what this public service is about. If you can't come up with $200, well, I think people could. I don't think that's the issue. People don't want to. And that's why I don't want MCC. They don't want to pay $200. And that's why I don't want MCC funds used for that. Thank you for the time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Chris. Sid Young?
Well, first of all, you don't have to have a candidate statement. You can, if you're running opposed by someone else, you can always just they can have their candidate statement and yours can be blank if you're that cheap. But to Chris's point, I think in the past they never got enough people to run, and then they just waited out the election and waited to be appointed. So this is kind of a chance to get people to run. However, I ran for the MWSD after having been appointed, and nobody opposed me. So I got my money back. So I think you should modify that letter and say that we'll be reimbursed after the election takes place and if they ran unopposed, they don't, they're going to get their check back from the county. They shouldn't be reimbursed before the election. That's all. If they were running unopposed, they do get their money back. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Thanks.
That's a good
Thank you,
point.
Sid. We don't see any other hands raised.
Yeah, that point should be made.
I'm closing public comment. Okay.
I've been in there.
Let's go around the table and Scott, do you have any?
I say type in Sid's comment as best we can and then vote.
Claire?
You want my opinion on this, or do you want to know if I'm ready to vote? I'm ready to vote.
I guess I'm trying to figure out what we're voting on.
We're voting on what he just proposed.
Right, but it seemed to me that there's still some difference in whether to approve reimbursement or no reimbursement.
That's what we're going to vote on.
No, one resolution is no reimbursement and the other resolution we just went through contains reimbursement.
If we approve what he just put up there, then we are voting for a reimbursement.
Correct. So that's what I'm asking. What are we voting for? Does everybody want to vote to vote for option number 3 or option number 1?
I want to vote for 3. Okay, are we gonna we're gonna workshop this and then we have to move to vote? Is that what you're
Correct,
asking?
or it could be 2 votes. We could vote for reimbursement versus no reimbursement and then choose the resolution based on that and then approve the resolution.
I'm gonna vote against it, if you want that.
Against what? Reimbursement.
Yes,
I mean, that's tantamount to voting, so.
so that would mean we would just cut straight to the number 3.
So that's why I'm asking
Yes.
option 1 or option 3. Reimbursement or no reimbursement?
I'm saying 3. I
So
would like
that's-
to vote on 3.
That's with reimbursement.
Yes,
Okay. Claire?
she already said yes.
I don't think this is all that complicated.
Yeah,
So, but I thought what you were saying is you're not voting for reimbursement.
I am not voting for reimbursement, so we can do this any way we wanna do it, that's how I'm gonna vote.
I see, got ya,
That's what I'm
okay,
trying to
I
understand.
see.
So she's she's option, you're Reso 1.
Or I'm against Reso 3.
So
Yeah.
the version that.
See.
However you wanna do it, however you wanna say it.
Okay, so let's just take a vote on whether we want to have reimbursement or no reimbursement, then we'll approve the specific resolution. How's that?
Okay,
Secretary.
So we're voting is to, we're asking people to say either reimbursement or no reimbursement, is that what we're
That's
we're
fine.
asking them to say? Okay, Scott,
I'm gonna vote for reimbursement.
okay, I'm gonna vote for no reimbursement.
Got it.
David,
I'm gonna vote for no reimbursement.
Kimberly,
No reimbursement.
Oh,
Connie,
I would for reimbursement, so.
But it's 3 to 2, so.
that's interesting.
Carry.
So,
Just because I voted.
Okay.
So
that means 3's out, now we have to vote on 1, or
Okay,
1's,
so-
are we defaulted to 1?
So,
Okay, good, we're done then.
so then the vote was
3 to 2.
3 to 2
No
in favor of no reimbursement, so
Yes.
that's option 1.
At Reso
Okay.
1, so it'll be resolution number 1.
So then what we need to do with resolution 1 is vote on the final language of resolution 1.
Yeah.
Sorry. That wasn't clear. It's like a long process for a short thing.
No, I'm okay with it, it's fine.
Yes, that's what the.
Just kidding.
So do you wanna make a motion?
Well, do you want me to read Reso 1?
Oh, you've got one already.
Fine.
Just go down,
Yeah.
There's really nothing-
section 9 is gone.
Yeah, section 9 is pretty much gone. All it is that
Happy to share it, you know.
yeah, no reimbursement.
Just-
Pretty simple.
Okay, so there's no language that's different.
No.
And the 3 resolutions were posted, so Claire, if you wanted to look at them,
I mean, it's up here, it's the same thing, it's just no.
I've read through them, so I know it's there, but I want to make sure you all know what's there.
I haven't, there's a typo.
Oh, yes,
I have Midcoast, MIC, yeah,
yeah,
okay, but we'll fix that.
The rest of what you're referring to is the language about at large and all that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's fine, that's fine.
that stays the
I'm good with
same,
that.
It's just at the section 8, right? You said 200 words will be paid by the candidate.
correct.
okay. Are we ready?
So what are we voting on exactly?
So now
So restate it.
We're voting to approve the resolution option 1, which is no reimbursement for filing for your candidate statement.
But it includes the description of the at-large voting, et cetera, as presented by
Yes.
David. Okay,
Correct.
all right, so
Yes,
Scott?
I vote yes to that.
I vote yes for that,
Yeah.
David. Kimberly,
Yes,
Connie,
Yes.
okay.
Because
passes.
God only knows what a no vote would do. It would start you back to square one.
We can say,
So-
oh.
Let's start it.
But if we all voted no, then what do? You're stuck.
Okay, so this is done, we've passed unanimously.
So solution 1, so if you could finalize it.
I will
send
finalize
to me,
it,
and
correct
then
my.
we will put it all together and send it to the county.
And you have a map,
I have the map that was used last time.
good, so we're done, we did this.
I think we're done. I hope so, unless.
Now we need to get some
Is
candidates.
there any room for gerrymandering this map?
No.
I just thought I'd throw that out there. I apologize.
So the next thing though is, even though Tony is homesick tonight and he's not here, he drafted our public outreach plan. And Connie, could you put that on his feed? I posted it today because he didn't send it till today, and I wasn't able to print it out, and I wanted the public to be able to see it, so
Is it on the agenda?
it's on the website.
Just put it up.
It's on the, it's on the supporting materials, Claire.
Yeah, but if it's not on the agenda.
It is on.
No, it is on the agenda.
is?
Did you
Yeah,
read?
it's on the agenda. It's on the.
Yes, I
agenda.
did, but I didn't see it.
It's the next section, but there you go. This is for the open seat outreach proposals.
Yeah, and it says agree on a plan for outreach. So yes, so here's the plan.
Okay.
You wanna take a can you take 3 minutes to read it? I thought it was a great plan.
I'm sorry, but I do not see it.
It's the last thing under the materials. It's in there, under the agenda.
It's not on an item.
It says proposal. The
For-
last item on
For
the list.
outreach, yeah.
MCC report and follow-up is the last item.
Okay, David,
Refresh your page, Claire.
yeah, it's in there.
And no, you're on the web page itself. Go back. You're on the agenda.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
That's what I've been saying. It's not on the agenda.
No, it is on the agenda.
The items on the agenda, the document isn't on the agenda.
No, go back. Item B, MCC election requirements and resolution approval. Approve documents to send to the county and agree for a plan for outreach.
Oh, that's. Okay,
That's what we discussed at the last meeting.
yeah, but it's kind of iffy, but okay.
No, we discussed it, that Tony would draft it. It's in the meeting minutes.
But it's not. It's not technically in the item, it's in the outcome of the item.
It was an assignment that's documented. What other outreach plan would we be considering?
It. Okay, it is in there. I'm sorry. I'm just really tired. I'll shut up.
I'm very tired too. So do you want to look at the document?
I think the only thing that it looks wonderful. There's not much detail on the action items, which will need development, but that final statement towards the end. Waive any rental or permit fits to utilize local, does that mean we're paying for permits or fees to like have an event somewhere for an hour?
That's a good question.
Cause that's really the only monetary thing we need to vote on. This is
I think I interpreted that a waiver as not paying any fees.
Waiver of any rental or permit fees to utilize, so yeah, that's the way.
So essentially, we're looking for a free location.
okay. Okay. Which exist. They do exist.
While Claire is looking at it, I would like to open it for public comment on this document, if anybody has any public comments. I don't see any hands raised. Are there public comments in the room? Carl?
Can't read the top of this.
That's, well,
Sorry.
you wanna talk, Carl?
Just down at the bottom. On the outreach to publicize this thing, just a little flyer with "Don't just live here, lead here," and this thing at post offices. Post offices are gonna be better than most of this other stuff.
Okay, so that's the thing that you think would be most successful.
In some communities, other communities not so much, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Are there any other public comments? You don't see anyone online. So I'm gonna close public comment on the outreach plan. Claire, if you had a chance to look at it.
Yeah, I thought it was an outreach plan for everything, but it's an outreach plan about how to fill these seats.
Correct.
Okay,
Okay, so what do we think about this? Connie?
I'm kind of aligned with Scott, it's just really the action items to create it, and, I don't know if that means that. We have to solicit who's creating the FAQ guide, who's creating the digital toolkit, that kind of stuff. I mean, it's great to have it, but.
I think that means these would be assignments or tasks.
Yeah, that's what I think. And then, yeah, I mean, I think it's good, host the social, if we can get people engaged, but it's. Yeah, there's just a lot of work to go in it, it's still, I'm all for it, because I'm all for additional output, community input, but it's gonna take some work to get people.
I think this could do two things, right? We're trying to get people to run for these seats, and then also it's gonna give visibility to the MCC, and maybe they'll be more aware of what we do. So I think it can be we get a twofer out of it.
Okay. Claire?
yeah, I think it's fine, as Connie says, I think, it's just a question of doing it.
Okay, Scott?
Yeah, I agree with what Claire said, and I'm the reason I was slightly distracted from what, because I made a flyer specifically for this.
Okay.
And was gonna try to send it to all you again, but it might be on our website somewhere. That I've distributed a couple different events, and we could reuse that again.
Okay.
It's somewhere, I mean, there's hard copies in our office. But I think I have it, I just have to find it, because I've sent it out previously, and I would like to resend it, so.
Okay.
But I'm looking for it right now.
Maybe we should make a time after this meeting to go down to the office, because there are other things we need to check there. Since you are the office keeper.
I think it would be good to add, what someone can get out of it besides just, you wanna run FAQs, like you need to include.
So expand this to broader outreach.
Yeah, just, why would you wanna run? I think we have to.
There's not a lot of runway left. We've got to have these
Yeah, right.
people in by July 1st. So this is
Right.
a short time frame. Maybe we pick a couple on this list and say, this is what's doable. This one's what is doable. I think having that whole list is not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And I think we should assign people or people should volunteer to actually do these things, rather than us just saying, hey, it's a good idea, we should do it. But somebody should commit to doing it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate Tony's not here tonight as the creator of the plan. I think Carl had a good point in that maybe we choose the low hanging fruit here that will make the most impact. And then we can revisit the rest of it for broader outreach as the year progresses.
Next door, stuff like that. Yeah, I think next door is a good one.
If we have our flyers, we can post the flyers on Nextdoor.
Yeah.
And we have a unified campaign.
Okay, so we're in agreement, flyers is one task, next door is one. What else?
We just write
Post office.
you use the same communication for all of them, that's all, you just write it up once and use the same template.
Post site buzz.
Website,
Buzz,
buzz,
post site 411,
okay.
basic stuff.
Do I have volunteers? Scott said he already has a flyer.
I do, I found it.
What's in the flyer, Scott? What's the flyer cover?
I think Tony's language is pretty good. Maybe we could modify some of that.
What language are you referring to?
I like the, don't just live here, lead here. I like
Yeah,
that.
it's a tagline, but it's
Yeah.
gotta be more than that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good.
well, I just meant add it to.
Yeah, oh yeah, the tagline, it's a good tagline.
Okay. I just sent it to you, Connie.
And while you're doing that,
Into the MCC.
Sarah, you
email?
said you posted.
No, I sent it to you.
Text or.
I can, I think, I think it might be good to wait until we have the flyer and then post the flyer on next door.
Okay, I'm just trying to get tasks lined up here. While they're getting the flyer up. I see the clock is ticking.
Do you see it, Connie?
No, I have to get in my mail, I'm not in the mail.
Oh, okay.
I can post to the website. Buzz, who wants to
I can do
give
that.
it to Buzz? Claire? Okay. What?
What do you want me to do? I feel like I'm like the only one not
What would you
volunteering.
like to do?
Whatever you need me to do.
Do we wanna do any tabling at a farmer's market or post office?
How soon do we need to do this? What's our time?
Soon.
Like in the next few weeks.
Okay,
We essentially have, I don't know, what, 4 weeks?
okay,
It didn't come through, Greg. I mean,
okay.
Scott.
Actually, I'm not sure when the candidate deadline is. Our deadline is July 1st. Is that also?
I thought the candidate deadline, it's also July 1st.
This is what it looks like.
Just saying, it didn't come through.
That's it right there.
No, that's good.
If we wanna do tabling, then
I can do
I can
that.
help.
Yeah.
Scott with the tabling.
Okay, you wanna do a farmer's market?
You have to sign up in advance for that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's why I specifically asked, how soon do we need this? Cause the person needs to find a sponsor and we need to fill out a bunch of paperwork.
okay.
Although there are people right now that are camping out outside the barrier around.
You
the
can sit around the barrier, you
Yeah.
don't have to do it, yeah. Go to the coffee shop, whatever. You don't have to have a table and
I understand.
they don't
Yeah,
like it. I'm sure, but-
So what about if Scott and Antonio do the flyer? Or flyers,
Okay,
would that be it?
sure, absolutely. I'll do that.
Okay,
Could you
so
just-
Scott and
could you
David
set-
might do the farmer's market. What about the post office? Michelle Dragony offered at one point to help do some of this.
Okay, let me find out. If
I
can-
meant it. I will definitely help if you want me.
Yeah, we'll
Sorry.
do it.
Just wanted
We
to break
did.
in.
It's fine.
Maybe different image on there, Scott.
What?
Okay, I'd like to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. I see there's 2 more hands raised, so I'm just gonna go back and ask, even though I probably shouldn't. Sid, do you have a quick comment?
Yes, I was just gonna say, when you make up the flyer that you're gonna hand out at the tables or put on next door, put the deadline that they have to apply for the county's deadline. Okay, I know you guys have your own deadline, but maybe the county deadline is important to put on your flyer. Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
my
you.
first-
Chris Johnson?
Yes, I know the folks that do Coastal Windage, the live call-in talk radio show on KHMB every Friday morning. They have an opening next week, next Friday. Somebody could come in for a half an hour and talk about this on live radio to the Coastside audience.
Oh, that's
Oh, one of you
perfect.
two would be great. Maybe both of you.
So when
When is
is that?
this?
When is that?
It's
Next,
during the day, it's in.
It's next Friday.
Friday morning,
Right.
what is
It airs live Fridays mornings from 9 to 10 p.m. 9 to 10 a.m. It's recorded, so you can also listen to it in podcast form later. And I'll reach out to Kimberly. Kimberly, is that okay if I email you?
yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, so what you need to have is you need to have a person who's willing to come there. It's a live show, so the interview is live, unscripted, in real time. And we would ask questions. We just had Ray Mueller on. We've had Sam Licardo on. We've had Joaquin Jimenez on in the last couple months. So we know how to do it. And I want to help the MCC. If you think this would be helpful to get the word out, I would love to hook you guys up.
I think that'd be
Okay.
great.
So first off, what's the date? What in time?
Next,
day.
At what
June
time?
5th. June 5th, 9 to 10 a.m.
Okay,
You obviously never listened to
I
it.
won't be here, so that's all you.
Okay.
I'll be out of town.
all right.
I can try to do. it.
Let me look and see if I have anything that I'm supposed to do at Friday at 9. If not, I'm gonna go in there if you trust me to do this.
Well, you're the spokesmodel.
I know. But they will be, my greatest asset will not be visible. It's radio.
Exactly. It's the magic of radio. It will be your best side, I promise you.
That was good, Scott.
So where do we have to go in? We have to go in person somewhere.
It's down by the school, down the HMB radio, down on Kelly.
It's in the D Benedetti building on Main Street.
Oh, okay. On Kelly and Maine?
Uh,
No.
I mean, you guys
yeah,
can
I'll figure it out. I'll pencil me in for that. I'll probably do it.
And I think we have more.
I will
What's that?
You back up.
send you an email and then we can go from there, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
And I
Okay,
think to put your name in is July 13th through August 7th. So we've got a little bit more time than what we originally thought.
July
We
13th
should verify that.
But we have to verify it for sure. I believe that's what I'm finding.
through August 7th.
Yes.
Got it.
Well, that's the thing. Oh, nice one. So it might need to be edited because this is very general. Take
Yeah.
a look at that.
I think it'd be great to have that tagline on there really big somewhere.
What do you mean?
Don't just live here, leave it.
Live here,
Might be
leave
good,
here.
Okay, we can stick that on there.
Get with Tony and work it out.
Okay.
Okay, it sounds like we have a plan and I'm gonna draw off this task list and distribute it to everybody, so you know what you're doing. Is there anything else we should cover related to this? We are at 9:30.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
Cisco has,
I think that was it. Next item is MCC participation in stakeholder meetings. We are so late now and unfortunately, I did not receive a report from the facilitator. He was at a function this week and I'm assuming he wasn't able to get it to me, but we will re-agendize this unfortunately to the next meeting. Do we need to vote on tabling to the next meeting?
What?
I don't think.
Tabling item 5C.
We could just go ahead and do it.
The other item is the MCC retreat report, and I was prepared to do that if folks want to hang out. Otherwise, we can table that as well.
So can I say, can we move?
I just want to
to-
be respectful of the time.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you.
Well, we have to wait for his scope anyway, right? The stakeholder to come back, Charles to come back with his scope, so we have to table it.
Right,
Because we don't.
have to
we don't
table
have-
it, but I'm also saying, do you
Oh.
want to table the retreat
Yeah,
item?
I'm just saying, okay.
So it would be item 5C and item 5D,
Yeah, I move that we table 5C and 5D.
because otherwise for 5D, I can put the priorities up and we can go through them.
Yeah, let's move that on to the next meeting.
Okay,
We don't need to vote on that, right?
so that you've made a motion?
Yes,
I'll
Is there a
second.
second?
Okay,
Please call the roll.
stop.
yes.
No,
Oh.
David,
yes.
Kimberly,
Yes.
Connie,
Yes.
okay, passes 4-1.
You say you're tired.
Sorry, Pierre, but this is gonna be out.
Yeah, but I want to get it over with.
Yeah.
For the,
We still have council activity. Is there any council activity to report?
There's going to be a senior resource fair at the senior center this Friday.
that's right,
From something like 2 to 4.
2 to 4.
And it looks like it's got some pretty decent content to it. Ray is going to be speaking at it. And it probably is worth checking out just to see what community resources there are
Yeah.
at the senior center.
Okay.
I think we did.
I did watch the Granada Community Service District and they are revising the Burnham Strip Plan.
Yep.
Which was approved, the area, the lot area where the skate ramp is at. That is no longer gonna be a part of the plan, so they're removing that. I guess there's a lot of hurdles in order to keep that there. They're gonna have to have like a certain like road between the two, between Highway 1 and what is the street again, or
Alhambra.
Umbra. Yeah.
is it, yeah. And so they just had a lot of red tape, it'd be easier not to include it, so they approved it, and they're gonna move forward and just leave it as a dirt lot, I think it'll actually help with parking too.
Okay, that's very interesting. Thank you.
Did I steal your thunder? Okay.
I also did part of it, but I know they were dealing with the budget, with the SAM budget, right? Part of it that they were also talking about whether to ask for detailed, getting more detailed line items on the SAM budget. So to put together.
The other one that I was watching the Board of Supervisors meeting, it's the Article 34 is they've been discussing possibly amending that to make it a little bit more broad or easier for the county to buy property and incorporate that into low income housing. So our affordable housing, I should say, and so they're discussing that. I know Ray Mueller was asking for more input from the mayors and the cities. Because they're worried about, hey, if they've got that additional availability, I guess is the right word, to do more on their own. Because typically with Article 34, you have to go to the voters and get approval if you're gonna do any kind of development when it comes to affordable housing. For each development, they're trying to change that, or they're working on language to see about changing that in order to be more broad, and you maybe go to the voters for a more, stroke of the pen to have more flexibility. And use taxpayer dollars to buy, let's say it's apartment building that they want to convert and change that into affordable housing. So just something to look at, because that's gonna be countywide, that could impact the coast. They're gonna be bringing it back to the supervisor meeting. I think the next one, because they're trying to rush to get this on the ballot if everybody's in agreement with
So it
it.
would be on the ballot this.
Yeah, they're working to try to get it to the ballot in November is what they're working towards, but just something to keep an eye on.
Okay, that's interesting.
That's all I've got.
Thank you. Connie?
I did listen to part of the Harbor District meeting, but they really went through their information on the work that's ongoing there and some of the proposals. But I did have to step away from the call for a while, so I didn't get anything significant. When I came back, they were in a closed session because of some litigation, so can't say I heard anything
Okay.
massively updating it. What was interesting though is I did get a letter thanking me for joining the meeting afterwards. I thought that was a good touch.
Because you're a new face.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe we should do that.
But I thought that's good outreach. Thought that was very smart.
Yeah. Scott?
I was away,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't think I have, do I have anything to report? The only thing I would say is that I actually requested, so the Coastal Commission released their determination on the parking last week. And it would have slipped by, except that our friend Lynn Erickson has been continuously in touch, and he alerted me that it had been released. So I requested them to send it to the full MCC, which they did, and you all received it. It also got distributed out into the community. It is the plan to address the replacement of the 75 parking spaces by Caltrans. My question, and this is moving on, I guess, into future agendas, would the council like to agendize this topic at the next meeting to consider any further action?
I don't want to, but I think we should.
And would agendizing it be focused on considering a letter or something else?
It would be nice if we had our response from our consultant before we made that decision.
Yeah. Well, we will have a report from the consultant at the next meeting, because it was supposed to be for this meeting, so.
It's important, it's an important community issue. It feels like we shouldn't ignore it.
Okay, I'll put it on the agenda. And I think it is timely because it continues to move forward. Are there other agenda items people would like to suggest? Stop.
No, I don't, I'm done.
You look concerned.
No, I'm okay. No,
Okay, Claire?
Do we need to follow up with the lady that talked about the RVs?
I would like to agendize that topic again. Scott and I can talk about
Okay.
that.
that was the lady that today that spoke.
That was Joanna, Joanne.
Rokovsky.
Rafalski, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pacifica, she was,
Pacific Resource Center.
she was suggesting we get Anita Reese to come, so we could do that too.
I would like to talk to you about this.
Yeah, that's who I suggested a while ago, so.
Yeah.
I didn't realize they were gonna lose funding so quickly, so that's important. Okay, so that's future agendas. Anything else?
No, I had just mentioned to you, how do we follow up on the stormwater report? We talked about it and Greg mentioned it again. Can we do anything to follow up on that to see if there's been any change?
It's a good question, and I don't know what we would do unless we go straight to the county and ask.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to take the lead on that? To just go ask the county if there's any movement on any of the stormwater projects mentioned in the report?
Should we go through David Cosgrove? Should we ask him to?
David Cosgrave?
Yeah.
Um,
Can ask him to follow.
it's on his list, I'll tell you that.
Okay, well then.
Okay, then that's, if it's on his list, it's done. We have to wait for a response to him unless we're gonna bother him about it.
Well, I think I guess the reason why I'm asking is because to me, it feels like unless we keep asking, we don't necessarily get anything read back. There may be movement, there may not be movement, but I think keeping it front of mind is always good. So I don't know if you're going over it every month you're meeting with them, but we're not hearing it and the community's not hearing it. There's no movement. So
I'm gonna make a statement here. I don't believe the community is listening. Because the solution is make your own sewer or runoff water district and pay for the infrastructure.
Yes.
That is what's been told to us from people up there.
what about the roads that are not maintained?
Oh, you mean the storm drains in the roads?
Yeah, the storm drains, the culverts,
Okay, we can talk about that.
you know, the
That's
swales,
different.
like, that's all county.
Okay,
They don't,
So there were projects, I think, that I recall DPW when they came before.
Yeah.
Talked about in relation to this report, so follow up with DPW would be good, and they are actually scheduled, we're invited to the next meeting.
okay, so
So,
that'd be good then.
Tony was the lead on that,
Well, that'd
so,
be good then.
No, the Montero Mountain thing, if it's a real thing, we should follow up on.
Yeah.
But Scott
Scarper.
was showing me pictures.
it's Scarper Ridge.
It's not Montero.
It's not Montero Mountain, it's Scarper Ridge. That's where the construction is happening.
What is that?
There's right now on Scarper Peak.
What is it?
You know anything about that? What it is?
Well, it's actually considered to be sort of the south end of Montero Mountain. That whole ridge is on some maps as Montero Mountain. And Scarper Peak, there used to even be one of the golf balls up there from the Air Force, that's no longer there. I know there is a Western Union tower up there for many years, may still be there. And the FAA
It's a tower.
San Francisco Airport, one of their main towers is up there for guiding air traffic.
But who do you think is making this road and shouldn't they have gotten a permit?
Which road is this? Cause I don't know.
So let me try to describe it to you. If you take El Granada Boulevard all the way up
Yeah,
and you make a right, that's where the construction is happening.
oh, okay.
And if you look at the topographical map, they refer to it as Scarper Ridge. And my friends that ride their bikes up there
Yeah.
call it Scarper.
Yeah. But it's been Scarper Peak for a long time.
I don't know
They're
about the
talking
peak.
that one. That's actually Perimeter Road, though, if you go all the way up.
Yes.
Yeah, Perimeter Road.
Yeah.
Is they're building that. That didn't used to connect all the way to Scarper Peak. Where the
Okay.
towers were.
So there have been reports.
So maybe they're connecting.
Michelle has her hand up. Maybe she knows something about.
I do. I have an answer.
Go ahead.
you like
lay
it?
on.
Okay, so when I first saw this on Nextdoor, I emailed Joe Bologna, who is the senior compliance officer for misappropriations of bad deeds, and I said, "What's going up there?" And he said, "It's PG&E. They're basically building up a road so they can get up to the top quickly." I can forward you the email, Kimberly, so you can see the officialness of this.
Okay, and what I'd like to know is which land is that on? Which jurisdiction?
It's exactly like this. It's going from El Granada Boulevard up to Scarper's Ridge, and I just dropped a post into the chat that shows you where Scarper Ridge is.
Okay.
But do we know if they require permits? I mean, is it state land? Is it?
They should require a coastal development permit.
Yeah, there are no permits that we know of.
Well, there's a lot of state and federal land between here and there. So, I mean, I have an app called Land Glide, and it can show you who owns stuff. The other thing too is that somebody went up and there's that pink building that's up there, that the old Wicklow property, the O'Neill house, and apparently they're doing construction on it, and they don't have a permit. So, anyway, I killed two birds with one stone.
Well, thank you for
The
that.
Wild West, there you go.
You're welcome.
Sorry, yeah, whatever.
This meeting is feeling like the Wild West. Okay, is there anything
Yeah.
else?
That interests me because we've spent time in this council on the road up Montero Mountain.
Yeah.
And it'd be very nice if this is being built for faster access up there.
But it's going the other direction.
Going the wrong way.
Yeah, no, but Perimeter Road goes all the way the other way.
Perimeter Road doesn't need anything. It
Yeah.
seems fine.
Yeah, Perimeter Road goes all the way to the top of Montero Mountain.
Yeah, it could solve some problems, but it's not being done the right way.
Yeah.
I did just have an idea about what they might be doing. Remember how we told them not to put the weather station up on the top of Montero Mountain?
That's right.
They have to find another place. I'll bet you it has something to do with that. I can find out though.
I think that was already installed though.
No. They never got, and there was never a permit that was gone through. So the SFPUC, when they put a permit in through the county, they actually do it through the consent through the planning commission, but they always actually say that they're doing something. Because they want to make sure that CAL FIRE knows.
Okay.
We haven't seen anything.
I know, I haven't either.
Okay,
Interesting.
okay.
Plot thickens.
Is there anything else before we adjourn? Shall we adjourn?
Yes.
It's adjourned.
There you go.
Thank you all.
Hey, thanks for coming.